I speak really fast, and I'm going to try to slow it down so that you can absorb it all. But at the end of the day, you're going to get every single slide, and you will be able to come back and watch this again with your incredible partners at sold.com. And I'm glad that they invited me in here because there's a ton of noise out there. And you probably have received at least 75 emails this past week that said something with NAR on it. Like, right? We know that keeps happening. So my goal is to help you show up with confidence when it comes to these. And why did they bring me in here? Well, we know that 70% of all sellers are also home buyers, right? Then many of the buyers are masquerading around online as buyers and they are actually sellers. So it's important that we absolutely nail this. So here's the landscape for today. We are going to talk a little bit about NAR. I know you're sick of it, but we're just going to talk a little bit about it. But I really want to help you know who you are and what you do so that you can solve the problems that consumers are facing today. And then I want to help you communicate it clearly so that you can help more people and gain more clients. So let's jump into navigation. I received a phone call over the past weekend from somebody that I didn't know in Florida. And this is what I pictured in my head as I was listening to her voicemail. That was like 5 minutes. I didn't even know, you guys, that you could leave a 5-minute voicemail, but it said something like this. It was like, I have been doing real estate for 39 years. And enters the rock, throwing chairs. She was so mad about all of these changes. And she talked herself into a full circle and she said, so can you send me some scripts? I said, absolutely. I sent her some scripts. And what I appreciate about the phone call that she realized that change sometimes is uncomfortable. Sometimes it makes us mad, but we have to roll with it. So what's changed? What will change? Let me make it clear. We actually don't have the full scope of everything. So what I'm teaching you today, you guys, we're actually doing this in the field right now with our Tom Ferry coaching clients, and it's working. And why are we doing it? Because we are anticipating the changes that are coming. So we know that buyers are going to have to enter into an agreement before they tour a home. Some of you guys have already been doing that for a long time. And some of you guys would just go and show, right? We know that these agreements must state the rate of compensation, right? It can't be open-ended. It has to have a start date and end date and how the buyers will be paying us. We also know that commissions are not going to be allowed in the MLS. There are 150 million questions that come from just those 3 statements right there. And I'm not trying to simplify it for you. What I'm saying is, let's plan for the change that we know that's coming by making some shifts in how we do business and how we communicate with our clients. So here's some of the things that I've heard since March 15th when the announcement happened. Commissions are going to go away altogether, right? No one will ever sign an agreement with me if they've never met me. Maybe you guys have said some of these things. Buyers, they want to tour homes without agreements. Agents will definitely leave the industry now. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much easier. We're going to get rid of all these agents. This won't work for online leads, right? I get all my business from online. I've seen this one. What if the seller doesn't want to pay any compensation to the agent, right? This is the one that I hear the most. I don't like this. You know what, guys? I get it. There's things about this that I don't like. But I have also heard beautiful things like, oh my gosh, coach, it worked, right? I got the agreement. It was easier than I thought. I was scared, but I got it, right? I explained it to the seller, and would you believe that the seller still wanted to pay compensation? Yeah, that's right. Just launched a new listing today. It's paying a co-broke, and we explain to the seller the benefits of that, right? Over 80% of the sellers here in the Phoenix metro area are paying a co-broke of 2.5% or more, right? I've always done business this way, and I'm not scared. So what you focus on expands, you guys. What are you focused on, right? Tell me right now in the chat, what are you focused on? Where are you pouring your energy? Is it to the negativity? Is it to, complaining and criticizing? Or are you just going in and saying, you know what? I got this. Change is inevitable, and we're going to do it. Here's what hasn't changed, you guys. And this is really, really important. I like it. Paula says, marketing, adjusting for the upcoming changes. That's exactly where you guys should be putting your energy. So what hasn't changed? The last time that I checked, you guys, you're still required to have conversations, quality conversations. you're still required to go on appointments. That's right. Go on listing appointments, go on buyer appointments, call it a buyer consultation, call it a showing. You still have to go on appointments. And most importantly, you're still getting agreements signed, listing agreements, buyer broker agreements, purchase agreements. None of that has changed. You know what it's called, you guys? It's called work. So I want you guys to come away from today's call knowing that you still have to work. It's going to look a little bit different, but we're going to get into work because we have to have conversations. Conversations allow you to set appointments and go on appointments. Appointments lead to opportunities to sign agreements. Agreements help you get paid. So let's get back to work, right? What are your options with all of this stuff? And I saw several people said, I'm change is everything. I'm gearing up for change. So let's talk about some options. And I'm going to share with you what we're doing currently right now with several of our top teams and top sales individuals across the nation. We're going in with our primary offer. What is our primary offer? It's the buyer consultation, right? It's a buyer presentation, consultation, whatever you want to call it. That is not changing. That's not going away. And I saw someone on here, Michelle says, I will not work with sellers who are not offering a buyer broker and commission period. I'm going to highly suggest you guys that you don't say any of that kind of stuff in an online forum. Right? It's super, super important that we are aware of that. So just be careful of some of the things that you're putting in the chat when it comes to that kind of stuff because of antitrust laws and things like that. But here's what I will tell you guys. Your primary offer is going to be a buyer's consultation. You're going to go for it in person or you're going to go for it on Zoom. You want an exclusive buyer broker agreement. That is your primary offer. You want to onboard them as a client. They need to understand exactly what you will do for them. That's super, super critical, okay? That's always going to be your primary offer. Now, in the event, right, that Deanna called me and she wanted to see a home and she's like, Kristi, I don't know that I want to sign an agreement with you. I'm just shopping. I'm not even sure if I'm going to buy. I don't even know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to an agent, right? This is where we are pivoting to our secondary offer. And I can say, I can completely appreciate that, Deanna. You don't know me. You don't even know if you're going to like working with me. So why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and put together an agreement that allows me to show you this property? Or she's in California, I'm here in the Phoenix area, and I'll say, you're coming in for the weekend. Why don't we sign a short-term agreement, right? Let's sign an agreement for this weekend that will cover us under all of the properties that we're going to tour for this weekend. I'm so confident that you're going to love working with me and the value that I bring that you will want to be onboarded as one of my clients, right? So this is the big shift. And you guys, it's working. It's working in states like Georgia. It's working in states like Florida, who has they have so many different forms that are outdated, and it's like the Wild West in Florida. We are seeing that this was already working in states like Washington and Maryland, where it's already been required, right? Several of our states, it's already been required. Canada, our good friends up in Canada, they implemented this last year. So get ready to pivot and let's talk about the secondary offer because I believe that you guys have the primary offer down and you're going to continue to go for them. So this secondary offer, this idea of a single home agreement or a short-term agreement where you can then show them your value, I'm going to give you guys a framework on how to do this. You can consider it some scripting, but truly it's just a framework. The first thing I want you to remember is that you need to acknowledge their concerns. If people are giving you resistance to signing an agreement with you, it's because they don't know what they're getting into. So acknowledge it. I completely understand, right? My priority is ensuring that you're comfortable and informed in the process. That's why we need to get them into a buyer's consultation where we can show everything that we're going to do for them. But you can't just ignore it. So first, acknowledge their concern. Then we're going to highlight the value of exclusive representation, right? There's a lot of things that when we partner together formally through this agreement that I will be able to do for you. right? And we're going to dig into the juicy details of all of that. But start to highlight the value of representation. Then this is something that I also look at. It's like it's really not that much risk. You really want to see this home, right? You really want to see this home. We know if it's offering compensation, that's clear right now, we know. So let's go into a short-term agreement because it's flexible and it's risk-free, right? That way you can get the dedicated attention that you deserve. Think about the value to them. What problems are you solving for them by entering into this short-term agreement, right? Allows you to start doing some research, right? But you can also show your commitment and your track record. This is where we can say, please go to my Google profile. I have over 100 reviews. Visit my Zillow profile. I've got over 260 reviews. Many people have found it beneficial to meet with me to discuss the buying process and to partner with me, right? So you're going to showcase your commitment and your track record. You can also offer a clear exit strategy, right? Here's the thing. I am not a bad cell phone contract, you guys. I don't want to work with people who don't want to work with me. So what does that look like in your agreement, right? If this doesn't work out, right? What are their options? Because some people just get scared. But I'm confident that you will absolutely want to work with me, just like the hundreds of people that have done it already. And then, of course, you're going to go into the meeting or the consultation. So again, primary offer is always going to be that consultation. That's where you guys are going to really nail this. If you get resistance, then you can move into a one-time showing agreement or a short-term agreement where you actually are putting your money where your mouth is, right? I'm going to earn their business. And it also gives you a chance to try them on because you may not want to onboard them as a client, right? There's been people that I've said, I'm not sure I want to work with that person. So what do we do now? You get very clear on why a buyer should choose to work with you. I'm going to help you with that. You're going to determine what you charge. What is your fee for working with buyers? Because buyers are going to be responsible for paying it. You're going to help them know how to fund it. That's a difference right there. And then you're going to get your buyer's representation in place. You're going to level up on your scripts, practice, practice, practice. Find someone in this webinar, tap them and say, hey, when can we practice this together? Don't practice on your clients. Find your peers and practice with them, right? And then you're going to get more listings. Have you guys partnered with sold.com yet? Okay, because they've got some incredible opportunities. And we know that based on their research that 41% of the consumers that they engage sell within the first year, right? 41%. 78% list within 3 years. Well, that means that you can't blow the deal by not following up, you guys, right? Like don't lose it by not doing your lead follow-up. So those are the changes. Go for that short-term agreement if you can't get your primary offer. But let's start to talk about your value and who you are and what it is that you do. As of today, I have evaluated 172 buyer consultations. I just did one this morning. That was my 172. And this is what it looks like as they come in. Some of you guys are yellow, some of you guys are blue, some of you are black, black and gold, black and silver, black and red, black and white, right? Enter your brand that you're with. You can see this. But at the end of the day, they all have the same elements. There is no differentiation in them. It's going to have something like the buyer's journey, the do's and don'ts of, lending 101, the closing process, frequently asked questions, terms that you need to know. They all look the same. I want to help you stand out from others. So we're going to update your value proposition. And I've seen like USP selling proposition. I think it's all about value. You need this to differentiate your unique services so that you can stand out from all the other agents. This will help you attract people that you want to work with. Wouldn't it be nice to attract people that you would actually want to work with? Kind people who value you? Heck yeah, right? But most importantly, this helps you create a business because they will be loyal to you. They see what they're getting and they want to work with you. They want to refer you. So you're not on the constant spinning hamster wheel of trying to find new business, right? So we're going to do this with my friend ChatGPT. And if you like Bard or Gemini or any of those AI tools, it all works. How do we build a value proposition? Well, step one, I need you to describe your core business, right? What product do you offer? Do you specialize in working with our veterans? Do you specialize in first-time home buyers? I want you to include details of what it is, how it works, and who it's for. After that, I want you to think about your target audience, okay? I want you to include demographics, psychographics, pain points that you address in your offering. In addition to that, I want you to start to list the unique benefits that you do, right? Maybe you get people in your car and you drive them around, right? Maybe you don't. But what is it that you do for them that's different from everybody else? Back to pain points. Really thinking about, like, if you're in a marketplace like DC, actually, I'd love to know where some of you guys are coming from. You can put that in the chat. If you're in DC, there's no inventory. So that's a pain point. If you're in a situation where all the homes sell for multiple offers, that's a pain point. Maybe you are like some of our partners in Riverside, California, where affordability is an issue, right? And you've got to deal with affordability. New Jersey, we know that New Jersey has issues with how much inventory. Gosh, I've got a client in Sparta, New Jersey, and they just do not have enough inventory, right? What are the pain points that the buyers are facing in your marketplace? And then I want you to describe the outcome. Okay, so those are all the things that you need. Yes, you're going to get these slides. Yes, it's being recorded. Deanna will make sure you know how to get them. So now that you've done that, right, you're going, oh, in addition to that, you're going to put your testimonials, any case studies, how you've won. Tell ChatGPT all of this because they're going to help you put this together. So here's what it looks like. You can screenshot this. This is the example of the prompt that you can use to supercharge your value proposition. I am a real estate agent specializing in Kimberly, oh no, that's your name, New Lenox, Illinois, right? I'm a real estate agent specializing in New Lenox, Illinois with first-time home buyers, residential properties, luxury homes. You see, you insert that. And then the location. My target audience is, include those things that we discussed earlier. They often face challenges such as X, Y, Z. I offer unique services and benefits like fill in the blank. I'm known for my expertise in market knowledge, negotiation, market trends, neighborhoods, you got it. I have success stories and testimonials from clients such as, put those in there, right? And then it will spit out something like this. This is an example of how it's going to tie all of that information in together. So it knows who you are, it knows what you do, it knows how you differ from your competitors. It also knows your client, their pain points, their fears, their hopes, their goals, their dreams, and you solve all of them. So with this supercharged value proposition, and here's the cool thing, in this same prompt, you can get it to do a bunch of interesting things like, how about generate a series of engaging social media posts highlighting my value proposition? Maybe you want it to create a video for a testimonial. Maybe you want it to develop some infographics. Maybe you want it to create some polls and some Q&A sessions so you can create more engagement, right? You could have it write detailed blog posts. Remember I talked about attraction? We want to attract our ideal client. In addition to this, you can use it to create your buyer and seller presentations, right? Create your slide decks. Create a compelling reason to use you. Outline an interactive segment. Provide a detailed explanation of my network and the benefits. There's so many things that once you've identified who you are and what you do and who you're for, that you can now create content at scale that will absolutely attract the kind of people that you want to work with. So put it in the chat. How many of you guys are ready to supercharge your value proposition utilizing AI? You got to commit to it. I want to see, and I want to make sure that you guys are doing it, okay? Where we go from here is we're actually going to go into the buyer's consultation, and we're going to talk about the things that you should put in your consultation and some of the things that maybe you shouldn't be putting in your consultation. I like it. Lisa says she is. Jennifer, James, Peggy, yes. Okay. If you don't do it, I'll be so sad that you wasted our time together. So let's do it. What are the pain points that your buyers are facing right now? I've named a couple, okay? I've named a couple. We know that inventory can be an issue. We know that with the lack of inventory, it creates multiple offer situations, bidding wars. It creates situations where people just can't get into the home fast enough, right? It creates affordability issues because now I might have to go above what they're asking, and maybe then I have to waive appraisal and I have to do all these different things, right? It's important. Interest rates, yes. It's important that you guys internally have empathy. Okay. I want you to think, if you were a buyer in your marketplace right now, what would you be facing? 1000 Watt did a really interesting survey, you guys, in December. So this was even before the NAR announcement. They asked consumers, why do you feel that the services of a real estate agent are not necessary when buying a home? 45% came back and said, because I can find homes for myself online and I will tour them in an open house. Well, that kind of hurts my feelings, right? But here's the thing. In some of your marketplaces, that's going to be true. Here in Phoenix metro area, we have a lot of inventory and a lot of agents are hosting open houses. Not every home will have an open house, but many of them do, right? In some of these other states where there's not a ton of inventory, you may miss out on a home by not partnering with an agent. But what does this tell us? The consumer thinks what? All we do is open doors. I think we do quite a bit more, right? I'm going to highlight two of my coaching clients, Chris Dalto up in Bellevue, Washington. We have been focused, and if you look at his social media, you will find a theme. We have been focused on solving buyer problems in our social strategy and in our email strategy. So pending, Newport Shores, beat 0 offers because it was off market. Connections with good agents mean everything. Don't wait around. Get yourself an agent that will do whatever it takes to find your home. These particular buyers had been writing offers and had missed out on 5 homes. They picked him because he said, no one will work harder than I will. And he proved it. He went in and started networking with agents. He found this coming soon property. It wasn't even on the market. They closed the deal and they got it, right? But let's talk about Caroline. Caroline has been doing this for a month. She is dedicated to showcasing the good, the bad, and the ugly of the buying experience. A lot of her business, it's actually like 50-50. 50% of her business comes from online, like Google pay-per-click leads, and then everything else comes from her relationships with her sphere and with her past clients. She has been showcasing exactly what it is that she does to help her clients win, right? And that's in multiple offers. That's understanding contingencies, right? What is the risk of being in a marketplace like hers in DC where you may not get an appraisal, you may not get a home inspection? She's absolutely helping her clients understand. That's interesting because it's not just about showing homes. So Coach Charlie Bangle and I were talking, and he said, you know what? What if helping you find a home is among the least important things that an agent will do for you, right? Here at Enter Your Brand, right? Our true value lies in helping our clients evaluate homes, reading disclosures, interpreting inspection reports, walking through homes together, and estimating repair costs. Buying a home is a big deal. Our number one job is making sure you get it right. So what does that look like? Well, I showed you a couple of our clients, how we are communicating this. It starts with that problem of no inventory. In your buyer's presentation right now, if you have it out, grab your pen and highlight the section where you solve this problem. Because I'm telling you, 171 of them have not done it that I have viewed. I'm like, show me where in your buyer's presentation you teach your clients that you solve the problem of no inventory, right? Just imagine being the first to hear about exclusive listings before they hit the market. That's why you work with me. Ever wonder how to uncover those hidden gems in the housing market? Well, this is what I do to unearth those off-market homes. Maybe you do probate. Maybe you do divorce. Maybe you do downsizing, right? What is it that you do? I like this one. How about we take your home search right to the source? I'll personally visit the communities you love, knocking on doors to find you your dream home. Nobody works harder than me, right? That's why you sign an agreement with me. We talked about multiple offers. Yes, multiple offers. Oh my gosh. That means that you need a strong agent to help you in a competitive market. I have strategies, right? I manage risks in bidding wars. I have tactics to protect you. When can we meet to go over them? Get them into your consultation, right? How do you get their offer noticed? What are the tools that you use? Is it your relationships, right? Is it your knowledge? Is it your prowess? With multiple offers being the norm, my negotiation strategies are designed to make your offer stand out. Where in your consultation do you solve the problem? If it's in your marketplace, right? I love this one. In a fast-paced moving market, being prepared can make all the difference. That's why you partner with me. Yesterday, one of my clients signed an 18-month buyer broker agreement in Buffalo, New York. Why 18 months? Well, because they're switching jobs and they're investigating all these different communities. An 18-month exclusive buyer broker agreement signed yesterday. I love it. Affordability. We know that's an issue. We know affordability is an issue. So, do you know of the local grants that are available, if there are any? Do you know of the different loan products that are available? Here in the Phoenix metro area, we push new construction. Why? Because that's where the best rates can be found. But I will work to make your buyer profile as compelling as it possibly can be. These sellers will be interested in you, right? Whether it's exploring creative financing options, knowing about grants, or just knowing how to showcase and write a clean offer so that they want to do it. Where in your buyer's consultation is that? If it isn't, I would be looking at adding those three things. So in the same survey that 1000 Watt did, you guys, they said, what is the statements do you think is the most true? 55% came back and said, well, a real estate agent can help buyers make smarter decisions by looking at the pros and cons of a home, translating the inspection and disclosure reports, and interpreting the print of the paperwork. Yeah, fine print. That's kind of an important thing. So they don't value us just opening doors, but they do value our expertise. Let that sink in for a minute, you guys. They value your expertise. Because you know what? I live next to a dairy. Nowhere on Zillow will you find that I live next to a dairy and that every Wednesday they turn that thing over. And if the wind's blowing towards the east, well, my house smells like a dairy, right? But a local agent knows that. Interesting, right? So what if you created 5 pieces of marketing specifically about the red flags in an inspection report or about a disclosure document? And when I say 5 pieces of marketing, let's also extend that to our buyer's consultation. What inside of your buyer's consultation shows that you mitigate their risk, right? 5 strange words that come up in a home inspection and what they mean. So all my agents from Phoenix, they're going to realize this. You want to know one of the most annoying things that shows up in an inspection report? Missing anti-siphon device. What the heck is that? It's a $5 part from Home Depot, you guys, that goes on your hose spigot. But in an inspection report, it's like red and it says cross-contamination, the world is falling, this house will never appraise. It's just a simple piece, you guys, right? This is where you can make a difference and how you communicate with your clients. Is this a big deal that it's a missing anti-siphon device? Or no, it's not a big deal. right? This is still a great home. Having a buyer's agent on your side through offers, negotiation means you get experienced, right? With the translations of everything that may come up. Because guess what, you guys? Searching on Zillow is easy, but successfully negotiating with sellers in today's market is hard, right? We take care of the hard part. That's what they're paying you for. They're paying you to understand the process, mitigate their risk. So that being said, what about the people that say, oh my gosh, I just want to work with the listing agent, right? I just want to work with the listing agent. Okay. What if we started to create marketing content? Because you guys, I want you to put your buyer's agent hat on right now. What if we created content that spelled out what they would be missing by not, or risking by not having their own representation, right? A seller's agent is always going to put the seller first. Hiring a buyer's agent ensures you get as much representation that they do from offer to close. True representation is never double-sided. Now, I know all you listing agents are like, yeah, but I do it all the time and I love it. I get it. We're talking about buyers right now. I said, put your buyer's agent hat on, right? What do they risk by not bringing you in, right? Those are important things. So how about this one? For our people that have already started getting buyer broker agreements in place, and it's working, you guys, it's working. I didn't say it was easy. For some, it's been a little bit harder, but everybody who's been open-minded and coachable, it's working. Well, I've worked with other agents and they've never asked me to sign one before. Why are you asking me to sign one? You guys, this is a valid question, right? Here's what I'm so excited about, you guys. We're all going to be on an equal playing ground. It's going to be required. Buyers will either be represented or they will be unrepresented. So we're all going to be on a level playing field, but you are going to face this issue right now for the next little bit as we all transition into the new norm. And that's where I say, I'm really glad that you asked me that, because are you familiar with the 27 terms of the California real estate purchase contract that I will be negotiating on your behalf? That's interesting, right? Charlene, Bailey, I don't know how many homes you've sold, but could you imagine a buyer going up against you? You're going to get them to pay more money for that house. You're going to get them to agree to less repairs, to maybe dropping their appraisal contingency, their financing contingency. Think about this, you guys. As listing agents, our fiduciary, if you have fiduciary and agency in your state, I know some of you guys work as transaction brokers, but here in Arizona, I have a fiduciary to my seller. You know what that is? To help them net as much money as possible. And I am an honest person, I'm a kind person, but I will use that contract to my advantage. So do you want to go in as a buyer against someone like me who's been involved in thousands of transactions? I will eat you for lunch. So will Charlene, and so will Josephine, right? What about the 90 ways that we serve you? This came from our coaching clients, the Spellings in San Diego, and this was in their buyer's consultation. And many people have come since then and say, hey, I have 105 ways that I serve you. I have 55 ways that I serve you. The point is that they have identified several ways that they serve their clients. So why should I sign with you? Well, for one, we've got 90 ways that we are going to serve you and 27 terms we're going to negotiate for you. But we're also going to go over the market conditions to make sure that you don't overpay, right? Or maybe I'm going to explain that home inspection process because we know that they value that, right? The point that I'm making, you guys, is people don't value what they don't know. I love what my Michigan homegirl, Janice Allen in Kalamazoo, Michigan has done. She has put together a buyer's consultation with the binder. Now, at first when she told me this, I was like, a binder? That's crazy. She works with a ton of people relocating to the area. You know what she does? She actually takes this big, huge binder, wraps it up, and sends it to them. They get an electronic copy, but they also get a physical copy of it. And she never has an issue with people doing this. And she's been doing it for years. You know why? She had to, because she relocated from a different state and she had to build her business on buyers and she didn't want to waste her time. So she made every person sign a buyer broker agreement. She doesn't have any issues. She makes it a special experience. When you work with her and you go under contract, you get the sip, sip, hooray. This is part of her value proposition and celebrating the milestones of the contract, right? When it's time for the inspection, she shows up with this incredible package, Sharpies and scissors and we've moved and address labels and tape and measuring tape. I mean, come on. You guys know that her like average price point's $250,000. If she can provide service like this at $250,000, what can you guys do with price points in the millions? How are you showing up and showcasing value, right? So a couple other things to consider as now I've got your brains thinking about how you're going to revamp your buyer's consultation. Do you have testimonials in there? Do you have case studies? Don't just put, you know, I've sold 72 homes. I want you to pull out a case study. I helped the Johnson family. They were facing X, Y, and Z issues. So what I did is boom, 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 and we got them the home, right? Case studies, more stories, not just a litany of services, right? Most importantly, you guys, I want you to think about how you're solving their pain points through the process. You're going to have the home buyers process. You're going to have all that stuff in there. But if you don't solve their problems up front so that they can see why it matters to me, who cares, you're going to lose. So let's jump into our last part, which is going to be the communication piece. But I love this quote from Jim Rohn. You don't get paid by the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. Again, what are you doing for your buyers? I might even make a confession. I haven't confessed this yet, but I'm going to. I was a lazy buyer's agent during the pandemic. I really was. I mean, it was hard, you guys. We wrote a lot of offers, but people just sent me the homes. I set up the showings, we went. I was not bringing cold water bottles and snacks, and I wasn't doing all of that stuff. I didn't have to because I had so many buyers crawling out of the woodwork because guess what? Interest rates were so low. I had more buyers than I could handle. I was tired. But this is a different marketplace. And it requires me to go back to the skills that I started over 10 years ago when I was saying, pick me. I want to interview for the job of being your agent. I would love to onboard you as my client, right? Okay, let's go for the appointment because I know that's why you guys are here. You want to go for the appointment. You want to have the confidence to get those agreements signed. I had the opportunity to work with Phil M. Jones. He's an author of the book, Exactly What to Say for Realtors, and it's one of the best books. If you do not have confidence in how to talk to people, I highly suggest you go buy his book. And if you ever get a chance to attend one of their trainings, my friend Mindy Jones here in the Phoenix metro area, she conducts trainings for him. It's absolutely worth the money. Your confidence will go through the roof. And he says, questions start conversations. So I want to start with this, you guys. The scripts that I'm going to share with you don't matter if all you're doing is speak, 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 and you're not asking questions. The name of the book is Exactly What to Say by Phil M. Jones, and he has a version for real estate agents. So I don't know, maybe Deanna can grab the link. Oh, someone, she's amazing. She already did. I just saw she put it in the chat. So Exactly What to Say for real estate agents. Ask better questions, you guys. Questions start conversations. Conversations build relationships. Why would I sign with you? I don't even know you, right? Conversations build relationships. Relationships lead to opportunities. Opportunities lead to decisions. A decision to choose to work with you, to list their home, to purchase a home, to partner with you. please start by asking better questions. So I'm going to give you some more frameworks, some more angles of things that you guys can look at. I want you to stay curious, right? I'm curious. Has anybody taken the time to go over what the changes in real estate look like now? Has anybody taken the time to explore marketplace between Gilbert and Queen Creek? I'm curious, have you ever had a personalized tour of what your future home could look like? Let's schedule a buyer's consultation. I'm curious is an incredible way to find out where they're in the process. I'm curious, what have you heard about the lawsuit? This one, by the way, is working phenomenally with our past clients in our sphere. I'm curious, what have you heard? Maybe they didn't hear anything. Awesome, let's move forward. But maybe they did, right? Maybe they did hear something. So I'm curious. How about a one-time offer? Something special. Would it be helpful if we did a quick 30-minute consultation? It could save you weeks of searching for a home online, right? And then you get them into just Thursday afternoon, afternoons or evenings, weekdays or weekends, right? You guys know how to get the appointment. But what is the offer, the one-time offer? What do they see in it? That leads to, the benefit. Is there a benefit? Imagine. And when you use a word like imagine, people actually go into their head and they're like, okay, I'm seeing myself doing something. Imagine having a clear roadmap to purchasing a home with a VA loan, right? To purchasing a home in this school district, to buying a home for the first time. A clear roadmap of what it looks like to sell your home and buy, to relocate to X city. Imagine having a clear roadmap to your dream home in just one meeting, right? Get them into the appointment. The personal touch, the personal touch. I believe that every home search is unique. People want to feel like you understand them, right? One of the questions that people have rattling around in their head is they want to know, can you handle me? I know that sounds silly, but what they're saying is, right, can you handle me? Can you, this is complicated. I have to sell my home in order to buy. I'm working with someone right now. She works for Dutch Bros and she's relocating from Oregon. They're moving their company here and it's complicated. She's like, I've got a 10-year-old son. I'm going to be working in downtown Tempe. I can't afford that area. I need 4 bedrooms. Can you handle me? Right? I believe every home search is unique. I understand that you want your son in a good school district. Let's sit down so that I can understand exactly what you're looking for. Many of my clients have found it beneficial. It saves them hours of searching online. Right? Go back to the benefit. The value proposition. Again, we already know our value proposition because we've taken some time to kind of roll back into it and really get into it. In the buyer's consultation, we'll cover the market insights that aren't available online, giving you the upper hand, right? Well, what do you mean aren't available online? Think about that, you guys. What do you bring to the table that's not Googleable? Is that even a word? Googleable? I'm not sure. Tell me in the chat if that's a word. But in all seriousness, you guys, what are you bringing to the consultation that they can't just find online themselves? Because we know that 45% of them said, I can find the home by myself online and I'll just tour it at an open house. What are you bringing to your showings that allow them to see your expertise? When you're touring the property, are you making note of potential issues that are coming up, right? Do they know that that's what you're going to do? I think of our clients in Florida who are having so many issues with insurance and HOAs and special assessments. Holy cow. If I were relocating to Florida right now, I could not imagine navigating an HOA. I think we can all agree that working with HOAs, and I'm sorry if any of you guys work on an HOA, if I offend you, I'm sorry, but it is a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare to get those disclosures and to get those fees and to get people to respond to you, right? They don't know the questions that they need to ask. I want the minutes from the last 12 meetings so that I know if a special assessment's coming up. Where is the value proposition? Understanding the market is key. I provide an in-depth analysis to help you make informed decisions. Where are you showcasing your expertise, right? So let's talk about compensation. You guys, avoid all online forums of talking about compensation. Like, oh, I charge X and I charge X. Don't do that, you guys. It's just part of the antitrust thing. You just want to avoid that at all costs. So I'm not going to put terms in here of percentages, but I am going to give you an example, right? I would love to represent you for any home that we find. If you choose a home that's for sale by owner or a home where the seller is maybe not offering a buyer's agent compensation, then we will negotiate differently than if it already has it built in. While I have the stats, I'm using it. Over 80% of the listings in the Phoenix Metroplex are paying between 2.5% and 3%. Right? I have confidence going in there. Many times sellers will offer buyer's agent compensation. My fee is X, and it's typically covered in the seller's offer. However, if they offer less, like Y, we will negotiate differently. My job is to help you figure out how to fund this fee, right? The way I see it, there are 3 different ways that we can fund it. One would be that the seller is offering compensation. Another could be where we ask the seller for compensation through concessions. Or maybe we also ask the lender for a credit, right? Or maybe I'm also utilizing grant programs to help fund this. My job is to help you figure out how we're going to fund this, right? At the end of the day, the buyer is the one who's paying it. It will show up as a line item on their side to pay their agent. But people hire me to help it get funded. Let that sink in, you guys. Let's not go from a place of scarcity and fear. Let's find. I think about when we adopted our children. Okay, when some of you guys don't know this about me, but I am an adoptive parent, and we've adopted 7, and we're still fostering 1. So when our children became available for adoption, I turned to my friend and just said, hey, who should we use? And she handed me a card and she said, this is the person that you should use. She's done this hundreds of times. I'm like, but this is complicated. We've got like 3 different dads and there's going to be a bunch of appeals and we've been fostering these kids for over 5 years. Like, this is going to be complicated. And she says, don't worry, just call her. My husband and I, we called, we made an appointment. We sat down with that attorney. You know what I didn't do? I didn't Google adoption attorney near me. I didn't Google cheapest adoption attorney near me. I didn't Google most expensive adoption attorney near me, adoption attorney with good reviews. No, I asked my friend and we interviewed with her and she made us feel at ease. She addressed our concerns about the appeal process. She addressed our concerns and you know what never came up? How much she was going to charge us. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a specific outcome and I was willing to pay for it. Purchasing a home is a complicated process. Yes, there are going to be people that just think they can do it on their own. Let them at it, right? They're not our people. We didn't attract them anyways. But there are absolutely people, just like people pay for Chanel, people pay for Gucci, people pay for insert luxury brand. Why? Because they perceive the value and they see the benefit there. So we can't live in a place of fear and scarcity, you guys. It's really important that you guys are on the same page with that. So your path to confidence. What is that path? Okay. The first thing is you've got to cultivate your mindset. Okay. You cannot do fear and faith at the same time. Cultivate your mindset. If you're hanging around people that are negative, well, I'm sorry. And if you're one of the negatives, cut it out, right? Stop complaining, get into action, okay? Cultivate your mindset, trust in the value that you bring, work on your skills. This is going to be a good thing. Do I fully believe that it's all figured out? No. What about our veterans? What? We don't have that figured out. But with the information that I have right now, I believe that transparency is going to be good. I believe that I will attract people who appreciate me and who want to work with me. Because I don't want to drive around for free for them to go buy a home with someone else, right? Trust in your value. Transparency is good. You've got to adapt and grow. The real estate market is constantly evolving. I will not be surprised if we see a bunch of different models pop up, flat rate fees. Well, guess what? We already had flat rate services for listings. We knew that. We're going to still see additional change. But you came here today because you wanted to take action. The examples and the scripts are here for you to R&D, as we say in our Tom Ferry network. Rip off and duplicate. Okay? That is your path to confidence. Now, I believe that you also found out about this webinar because sold.com is doing some incredible things, right? And you want to be out there helping people. So Deanna's she's gonna break down for us some of the things that sold.com has for you and how they're going to be able to help you guys. I would love to connect with you online through social media. I'm at Kristi Jencks on Instagram and Facebook. And if you found any value in this, definitely let me know. But let's hear from Deanna right now about what it is that sold.com is going to be able to do for you guys when it comes to helping you get more listings and help more people.
Yeah, thanks, Kristi. This is such good information just because, like you said, there's just so many changes happening. And I think you can get stuck in the change or you can just figure out what you're going to do, right? Because a lot of people just get so stuck in their head about, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if this happens? And that's work related and personal life related. We all have that happen, but it's just like, figure out what we can do to keep moving through it, because otherwise the alternative is you don't do anything, right? You get too stuck there. And so fortunately, most of the agents that are on this call are already in our network. And so I thought it'd be beneficial for me to even highlight just generally some of the stuff that, whoops, click on the wrong buttons, that we have been doing, because some people that are on the call have been in our network for some time and maybe need a quick refresher. And Kristi, you've even shared this with your network of people. And so some people are learning about sold.com for the first time. And so as we talk about, like, what can you do as part of your business? What can you do to take action? Sold.com is a company who is success-based. So that's always a good big selling point to people. But bigger than that, we're seller-focused. And so how we are able to get leads out to our agents is through a couple of different ads. We do the common find out what your house is worth. Scares some people, right? Because a lot of you guys on the call are like, I don't want to talk to people who only want to know what their house is worth. And I get it. As us being success-based, we don't want you wasting your time with only somebody who wants to find out what their house is worth. But the reality is those people who are requesting home valuations are, for the most part, doing it for a reason, right? They may be at the preliminary stages of wanting to know what their house is worth so they can sell their home. And I don't think you shared this number, but what we find is that most of the people who are requesting information like that are about 9 months out on average from actually taking the time to get their home valuation to actually listing the property. Because a lot of people don't just wake up, or I should say very rarely does someone wake up one day and say, I think I want to sell my house. They're thinking about it because their kid just started their senior year of high school and they're looking at their spouse and they're saying, you know what, we don't need this big of a house anymore. When Joe goes off to college, like, we don't need this 4-bedroom house. Or we've been thinking about moving for so long, but because of the schools, we haven't been able to move. And so they start this process of, let's find out what our house is worth first. And a lot of times when you guys have those initial conversations, the discouraging part for a lot of agents is when they make that phone call, a lot of us get too fixated on, I want this person to sell their home. And we don't think about that relationship that we have to create first, that value we have to create first. And so sometimes it's skipping that, or not jumping straight to, are you looking for this valuation to sell your home? Because you might be shooting yourself in the foot. I make this stupid, cheesy analogy of, a lot of us, if you're single, you've dated, or you remember you have PTSD from your dating days, but you may have been dating because you had the goal of getting married. But I can guarantee that if you sat down to that first date and you said, hey, my name's Deanna, what are your goals of getting married in the first 5 years? You are scaring the heck out of that person. Very
Not
rarely.
a good script.
Yeah, not a very good look. And maybe that person is like, wow, I'm so glad you did this. But that's that small little percentage that you're hoping that that person is also really eager, right? You can ask some questions that might allude to the fact of what are their goals in the next 5 years that are going to help you understand like what they're looking to do. If they're saying, I want to go to bars and clubs and travel the world, then maybe that marriage thing isn't on their horizon. So it's just about knowing that. Don't get scared away by somebody who's telling you that they're only looking for their home valuation right now, because the stats that Kristi shared of sold.com are 20% of those people are going to list within a month of what we see, 41% within a year, and this is actually been outdated, 78% 3 years later are going to do something. So don't shoot yourself in the foot by coming on too strongly. Know that you're building this relationship, that you're making this introduction, and that these people with the right follow-up will end up doing something. And now it's about staying relevant so that you're the person that they wind up moving forward with. So with that, a lot of you guys that are in our network know about the ranking system. And so how that works is we are setting up appointments for our agents. When consumers come through our site and are requesting that home valuation, our concierge team is calling those folks and they are saying, we want to set up an appointment to meet with one of our agents. How we assign those appointments out is all based off of how you guys are ranked within our network. So every single one of you guys, actually go back one, within your portal have access to seeing what your rank looks like. So you'll see what your rank is within our network. That ranking order tells you that that's the number you are in line to receive a lead from us. So if your rank is 1, you're in that position to be the first person that gets that opportunity. If your rank is 12, 26, 30, 60, 100, then that means that, yes, you're in our network, but 59 other people would have to say no to a lead for you to ever get the shot to say, I want it. And so the reality is that's probably not going to happen, which is why we offer the opportunity to boost your rank within our network. And so what that does is it first moves your rank up to the top. So if your rank was 100, you're now at the top of the list, so that you're receiving the first opportunity to receive that lead and claim that appointment from our team. It also reduces your referral fee, but better yet is, and for those of you guys who have been in our network for a while, this may be a new update for you, is as of January of this year, we also are now eliminating referral fees in the event that sold.com did not set the appointment for that client and we only passed you the consumer's contact details. So in the event that we sent you guys a client, name, phone number, email address, contact info, and you guys did all the work, right? Sold.com did not give you the appointment. They just sent you the contact details. If you guys wind up listing and closing that home and you are the zip code sponsor, you will pay absolutely no referral fee on that. So that's pretty big. So not like the two biggest benefits of sponsoring zip codes are you're going to move your rank to the top of the list and get leads that you would have ordinarily missed out on because your rank was too high for you to receive them previously. But 2, is you're also going to eliminate the referral fee in the event that sold.com just shared the contact details with you. So as part of our promo, we always like to thank everybody for joining this and investing in their business to learn more, as we do give you guys access to $55 zip codes. So normally our zip codes can range up to $250 each. So if you guys already own zip codes, this is a great opportunity to buy more at a pretty significant discount because you're saving up to 70% off. If you don't own zip codes today and you've been in our network and maybe you've been frustrated because you haven't received leads yet, this is a good opportunity for you to boost your rank and save yourself a lot of money. So what you guys probably saw is a little pop-up came out on your screen that allows for you to click on that and you can fill that form out. I saw some people were on their mobile devices and so chat might be easier. So I'm chatting that link as well. Or you can scan the QR code. That will take you to a form, and that will make it so our team can give you a call back to talk you through what that zip code stuff looks like. I think the biggest thing about talking about leads, and Kristi, you can probably mirror the sentiment, it's all about expectations. I would love to say that leads are going to be ready to go right when you guys receive them. Any company who tells you that or makes you feel that way, there might be a little bit of a false expectation there and an overpromise there. If you ever get a lead and it is ready to go right when you receive it, it's luck. Consider it luck. You got lucky. We're all excited about it. But most of the leads from most any company that you work with, it's going to take time. It's going to take some follow up with those people. And as much as we all want that listing to come out of it at the end, understand it's about that relationship building. So have that initial conversation where you're building value, showcasing what you do, ask them questions, learn about them, make a best friend, but then also don't put the ball in their court where they tell you that famous line of, we'll call you if we decide to do something, right? Stay in touch with them with value. It's also not staying in touch of, are you ready yet? It's staying in touch with, hey, don't know if you saw it, but a house just listed on your street for X amount of dollars. Don't know if you saw it, but a house just sold for X amount of dollars. Keep in touch with all these different things and position yourself to truly be their go-to person. I really appreciate your time, Kristi. I don't know if you had anything else to bring up before I let everybody go. One last thing I had is for the promo, for anybody requesting information on those zip codes, that promo price does end tomorrow, end of day. So in the event that sponsoring zip codes and getting those different opportunities is something that you guys want to do, that pricing will end tomorrow, end of day. Kristi, I'll hand it back to you if there's any other sign-offs that you had.
Nope, that's great. I'll get the slides to Deanna so she can make sure you guys have them. I appreciate your time. Take action. Don't leave this, don't leave today's webinar and do nothing, right? That's just a waste of your time. So find one piece and take action.
Yes, agree. Thank you guys, everybody, for your time. I really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you guys on the next webinar. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.